Hey guys, it's been a little over a month since the official release of Borderlands 3, and I think the dust has settled enough to talk about it. For the most part, players have had a chance to experience the game, and I wanted this video to give my thoughts on how I've seen the community react to changes Gearbox has made post-launch, and just my thoughts about the game in general and moving forward. This video will include a pretty big spoiler for the story of Borderlands 3, so if you haven't played all the way through, probably click off now if you don't want anything spoiled for you. And let's keep going. The game launched in the beginning of September to a relatively rough launch. The game had bugs and was surrounded by bad press, but the reviews were very good, and the game still sold amazingly well. Even though the game on PC wasn't exclusive to the Epic Store, I don't want to get into that too much, whether the Epic Store actually brought over new fans to the series, or what I think is more likely is that Borderlands as a series has just gotten more popular since the launch of Borderlands 2, so regardless of platform, more people would have picked up the game compared to past entries in the series. I don't think it's necessarily Epic's doing for a great launch. Obviously, I don't have any numbers to back that up, but I would say it's more likely than the Epic Store in Fortnite exposing new people to the franchise, but whole nother video. Another topic I think the community is ready to have a discussion on is if Gearbox showed too much of the game before launch. Now, I do have a bias as a content creator. I did watch all of the trailers, events, and interviews, so my view is definitely very jaded. But talking to friends who just follow the game casually, and just of people in the community, I definitely think now looking back, Gearbox showed way too much of the game beforehand. Really, there was only one planet that was truly never shown off, because they let content creators play huge chunks of the game very early and showed off a ton of the major bosses, areas, and plot points really. And some heavy spoilers were revealed because of that. Like one of the biggest spoilers in game, which is Tannis as a siren, was shown off in gameplay weeks, if not months before release, and in my personal opinion, they went heavy-handed with the marketing. And the weird part is it doesn't even seem like letting all these content creators have the game early really helped with any bugs or launch issues. The game when it launched was still filled with bugs, especially on consoles, and I'm not sure how that worked or why it happened like that if they did have all this exposure to people playing the game. Bring that into a discussion about this game compared to Borderlands 2. I saw Vinyl made a video about this, and I think I might turn something into that later, who really knows, but this game, Borderlands 3, compared to Borderlands 2. So I will say, yes, this game is technically bigger than past games. And I would say it feels pretty similar to Borderlands 2 in all the right ways, but I still think I would argue that Borderlands 2 is the pinnacle of the series so far. The story of Borderlands 2 is a lot more fun to play through, and while every game in the series has had pacing issues in the start, Borderlands 3 is way too slow at the beginning and takes way too long to get to a good point where it picks up, and then it just drags again immediately after you reach a high point, and it doesn't pick up in a big way till almost the end of the game. And while I want to play each character to max level, I find myself not wanting to go through the story time and time again. I think in time I will be able to get there, but I'm definitely not rushing towards it, and nothing in the game is really drawing me in too far. And this definitely can go for all the post-launch events they've had so far, the Iridium, the Anointed Gear. I really haven't been following them too much, and none of them have gotten me really to get back into the game. And if anything, I've been looking forward to more games that have been coming out, like the Outer Worlds, and just going back and playing a few things I missed. I really don't find myself, if I'm bored, going back to Borderlands 3 and playing it, which is something that I would always do for Borderlands 2. I am excited about the Halloween event, which is going on right now, and I'll probably jump in, but it's another thing where I think I'll only really play it once, maybe go for the legendary and log off, and then wait for the next either big event or big DLC. Which is really weird that now I find myself drawn almost more towards the story and where it goes in this world than the actual gameplay and what we're doing in the game itself. I think part of that has to do with all the nerfs and patches. Now, I haven't been playing the game or making videos as much as I was, but when the game first came out, I got my first character to max level in pretty good gear. It wasn't all anointed, but it was at a good spot where I could run Mayhem 3 pretty efficiently. Then I've been following the patches and updates, nerfs, everything like that a little bit, and I saw community kind of go back and forth, some saying they took it too far, other people saying not far enough with certain characters. And I think this is pretty normal, especially for most fans who were around for the launch of Borderlands 2. They probably remember all the meta changes, and I don't think that any of the changes will stop anytime soon for Borderlands 3, and Gearbox will keep making tweaks as long as people continue to play the game. I know it sucks when your favorite weapons or build is no longer viable, but that's the way Gearbox has always patched the game, and it's another thing that kind of keeps me from jumping back, because I don't want to jump back into a character and then have to rework all my gear just to go play at endgame again, or get these new legendaries that you don't have room for in your bank. So it is that weird thing too, where if they change it too much, it really kind of, I think, pushes people away from playing, because they'll log on with a character that was good 2 weeks ago and now can't even do Mayhem 2 with their current build. So I don't know if there's a good middle ground for that, or if they are tweaking things too fast for the most part and not really letting people have any time to play with these characters. The game has only been out for almost 2 months, month and a half really, which is why this video is 1 month later. So I'm still not sure, and I hope they kind of figure it out before we get into DLC, because I bet a lot of people are waiting to jump into the DLC and have not really been playing around too much, but will be really disappointed if they log into the game and see their character now is not viable at all and they have to play the DLC at the lowest difficulty. Honestly, it is kind of a complex situation. As always, I do want to shout out Scuff. I am partnered with them. I've gotten their new Prestige controller. It's very, very cool. I've been playing around with it a ton. I've been using it all for my gameplay for Borderlands 3. It's really cool. I've now had a chance to test both triggers, attaching them to different things. There are really cool things you can do with them. Big fan of it. As I said, I'm partnered, so for 5% off your order, you can use code Hayder, capital Hayder at Scuff. I have an affiliate link down below if you want to use that as well. Holidays are coming up, so if you guys do need a controller or anyone else needs a controller, feel free to use my code and support the channel. So as I said, that's probably where I'm going to end this video. I have some more things coming out, more discussion. Make sure to like and share this video, subscribe for Borderlands news, and I will see you guys in the next one.